Okay, best of 3, but this is not, repeat, not the Grand Scion Cup. That's next month. This death match comes from the Mini Cup, which is the practice cup where the players are ironing out the kinks in their game in advance, before the money's on the line. Oh, they're not gonna give me a chance to set this game up. Double scavenger scouts suggests no scouting at all. This is some kind of cheese. And since the Xayid can't cannon rush very well, we gotta assume it's probably gonna be a den rush. Real quick intros then. Our Xayid player in the top right is a field and laboratory protocol for estimating deposits of fine sediment. He is Quorer! I'm gonna be totally honest, I had no idea what that meant until I looked it up. Player IDs remains my sole source of education. Our Xayid player in the bottom left has an equally brainy origin. He is the largest integrated quantum computing company in the world. He is Quantinum! So the key question is, will this be scouted? And the answer is no. No, he did not see it. Quorer missed it. He is scouting though, so he will catch on once he gets to his opponent's base. But since we're on the map Xayid, he's gonna have to cover at least a 30-second rush distance. And based on incorrect information, he is expanding. Far from ideal, but also not fatal. Oh, Quantinum's actually gonna build feeding pools behind this. You can actually accelerate the rate of unit production by doing that, but that really puts him all in. He's only got one feeding pool at home, that's all he's got. And Quorer now knows it. Where's your money, dude? Doesn't look like he's gonna cancel. He's gonna scout and try to find that proxy. And the first Xayidling's already out. Those babies cost 75 minerals, but their thrashing spines can do 10 points of damage. Oh, Quorer was gonna try to shut that down with workers, but he sees that's not gonna happen. Now he cancels. Thankfully, he's already prudently started building at the top of his ramp, so maybe he can get a wall off here. No, it's not a wall off, it's just a choke. Quorer's praying that the feeding pools are gonna heal his harvesters just long enough that he can keep his units alive. He's got his own Xayidling shooting from the back. I think it worked! Quorer's actually shut down the first wave. Do not underestimate the power of those feeding pools. Quantinum is doubling down on his attack though. He's making more dens, more Xayidlings. How much time does Quorer have before Quantinum tries again? Quantinum's getting 0 gas because minerals is all he needs to exercise this push. Oh, but he's taking his natural. He is thinking about transitioning potentially. Quorer finishes up a bile pit. Oh, his front door is locked. The pit has superior range and attack speed to the Xayidlings, and it is just gonna mop them up. Quantinum has to pull back and rethink this. He either transitions or he goes for the contain. If it's a transition, he's gonna have a big hole to dig himself out of. This is not like a Rax Rush where you can just lift your buildings off and bring them home. If you're Quorer and you're pinned in, you're probably thinking about an air transition. Oh, yep, Quantinum's gonna try to transition. He's getting his gases. Double siphoners. I mean, somehow he's actually ahead on workers. So I guess it's not entirely out of the question. Oh, Quantinum's gonna try it again. You'll have the ramp disadvantage and his army is not grouped together. Quorer is gonna feast here, and he's gonna pull back for that sweet free healing. Now I haven't cast Xayid in a while, and the last time I did, the feeding pools only healed your units up to 1/3. Now it's 100%. The Xayid's defensive capabilities have really gone up. Feeding pools are the cat's meow. So Quantinum has a natural, that's something his opponent doesn't have. But he also might have a shorter lifespan. Quorer hits the dash, comes in for the kill, and he's overrun Quantinum's proxy. He's just picking off units as they're made now. Quantinum has no other production. Your bases all belongs to me now. It looks like Quorer's out. No, okay, he's gonna go back and destroy all these production facilities. I thought for a second he was gonna skip that and attack, but this is the right call. Notice he's got Mendlings out right now as well. They're the Xayid's auto-cast healers. They're a lot more tiny than the last time I cast them on this channel. They're a lot cheaper too. Quantinum's gonna try to rebuild his production. He's getting a den in his main and a bile pit to guard his natural. He's just losing so much here. I wanna say he's all in, but he can't recover from this. But economically, he's not that far behind. He just somehow needs to get units. Apparently those are useful in an RTS. But I admit, I'm brand new to the genre. What's so cool about this game is I haven't seen this many Xayidlings in an opening in a long time. What the XVX meta has drifted to is that both the Roamer and the Scorpulus do excellent damage against type light, which Xayidlings are. So often, the player that makes Xayidlings, they don't do very well. You see the Xayidlings suddenly getting new life in the mid to late game, but in early game, they're normally considered trash. Quorer's pulling back. That's not the right call because he doesn't see what we see. He's giving Quantinum a chance to get back into this, but he can't resist picking up that sweet free healing from those feeding pools. Yeah, there you see, both our players are making roamers now. Better range and slightly better damage when against light. And they cost the same number of minerals, 75. You just gotta add that 25 gas. So while I think as conceived the roamer was originally a solitary scouting unit, it's now an early to mid game staple. So useful in all three of the Scion matchups. And that's before you get to its scour ability. And just for the sake of a little emotional reminiscing here, the first time I ever saw Scour being used from a roamer, it was by Quorer. With the rushed intros, I didn't get a chance to tell you, he is one of the OG. He was punking people with the Xayid before I even knew what the Scion Custom races were. The Scours are gonna see double bile pits backed by a feeding pool. Quorer's going in anyway. Oh, it's gonna be a blow-by. He's just gonna try and soak the hits and go for the main. I like it. Of course, I conveniently liked it because it worked. This means Quorer's gonna be able to murder all of Quantinum's scavengers. That is really bad. Quorer has free access to the 2 Xayid dens that Quantinum built as replacements. Just like you don't really need units in an RTS, you certainly don't need production facilities. They're really just more decorative, really. Hard to see what Quantinum can do here. I admire his pluck. His best hope is that Quorer smashes himself on his defense, but if Quorer wants to, all he has to do is wait him out at the top of that ramp. Go build a couple of raptors and end this maybe. I mean, with those feeding pools going down, Quantinum would be at risk of being supply blocked if he had units. But that's a strategy that's often overlooked. You don't have to concern yourself with supply if you don't make units. All kidding aside, Quantinum is gonna try to make a go of this very bad situation. He completes a new den, and he has double siphoners. Oh, neat. If I'm following this right, Quantinum is being strategic and he's making an eroder because he knows his Casnolus den is about to fall. Once that happens, he won't be able to make any more. Eroders match up well against roamers. They're untyped except for biological, so very few units get bonus damage against them. Oh, another run by? Quorer takes command of the mineral line, and Quantinum's world just got even smaller. He's been forced into a tiny box. Quorer now needs something with long range, like a spitter. Or he could brute force it. Here we go. Quorer's gonna try to hit it from all sides. 350 HP on those bile hits, and they each have armor too. Quantinum throws every last bit he has at Quorer. Is it enough? Oh my god, I think he's actually gonna win at the mineral line. The eroder's gonna make the difference. And the bile pits are gonna hold. There's one left. Yeah, Quantinum's gonna survive. He gets his base back. He's got 2 workers and 6 army, but technically he's victorious. How does the saying go? A few more victories like that and we won't need any defeats? Quorer's taking his 3rd. I guess he's thinking this game's gonna stretch on. Does he realize how close he came to victory? Big wave of Scorpulus on the way. Having broken out, Quantinum's gonna try to attack. He's got 2 eroders and a Xayidling. Kinda sounds like the name of a punk band. Or maybe a 1990s sitcom. Anyway, the Scorpulus are gonna hit that punk band. There's too many of them. They're gonna get the surround here. And that's the GG. Okay, admittedly one-sided, but I was thoroughly entertained anyway. How awesome is it to see Quorer in action again? Is the takeaway from this game that proxied Xayid dens don't work? They cost the same as a barracks, they take 3 more seconds to build, and then the whole worm production thing probably means you can get units out a bit faster, especially if you combine them with feeding pools, which synergize nicely. So yeah, I think the theory's there, it could work. The problem is, if it doesn't pan out, it's very all in, very difficult to transition out of that. But hey, you don't plan your strategies to lose, you plan your strats to win. Having a plan B is good, but not if it hinders your mental focus on plan A. Anyway, who cares? Let's go to game 2. Adjutant, if you would please.
The game begins now.
As happens in a best of 3, Quantinum now finds himself on death's door, which means it's rather fitting that we'll play out this match on the map Death Aura. You already know I'm a raging fan of this throwback map, and we're gonna pretend that it got included in the map pool just for me. Okay, no sign of cheese this time, so let's just do some intros. Our Xayid player in the bottom right in green knows how to hold off a den rush. He is Quorer! I'm so impressed by the number of Xayid players in this tournament. The Keiron and the Genitron tend to get a lot more love, because they're much closer to being finished products, whereas the Xayid are still undergoing a major treatment. Our Xayid player in blue in the top left needs to pull out a win to survive. He is Quantinum! So Quantinum is set up outside his natural, whereas Quorer is setting up outside his main, a little bit more gun-shy after having been rushed. The further evidence of that is that Quorer is the first to scout. The scavengers do their game of chicken, and it's Quantinum's drone who actually moves to the side. Oh yeah, we're gonna totally read into that now. Quorer's got the minerals to expand, and he starts up his second nest. His scout sees all, and he's comfortable in doing so. Oh, but maybe he shouldn't be. Quantinum's going for a triple den with a mutagen chamber. It's a different kind of aggression, but it's definitely aggression. Quorer scouts it, and it looks like in response he's gonna immediately start his own mutagen chamber. He's not gonna cancel his expansion. He's gonna try to hold. Look at this, front row seats. Quantinum's not making units because he's waiting for his mutagen chamber to finish, which it does. And then he immediately goes for double roamer. Oh, and then he puts his rally on top of Quorer's scout. Oh, buddy, you're only seconds away from becoming the first blood of game 2. Flee, brother, flee! I beg of thee, flee! Nobody ever listens to me. It's almost as though the players can't hear me. Well, I guess we know what's gonna happen next. It's gonna be buzzsaw time. Quorer's making a second den in anticipation of the attack that's coming. Is he going to be able to get roamers or Scorpius of his own out in time? I think the answer to that is yes. It's a long way across Death Aura, even with the acceleration zones. And if Quorer can hold, he will have the lead. Quantinum is going to be much later getting his natural up, so he needs to do some damage. Oh, Quantinum's roamers arrive. Quorer doesn't have any units yet to defend. He's got 3 roamers on the way though. Quantinum tries to use that window. He bags some worker kills, and then it looks like a 3-on-2. Quorer wins that without losing a unit, and then parks his guys next to that feeding pool for some healing. Is there gonna be a second wave from Quantinum? No, nothing imminent at least. There's nothing streaming across the map. Quantinum got a couple worker kills at least, and he did delay a little bit of mining, so maybe Quorer won't get too far ahead on him. Unfortunately, he briefly got supply capped, which is why he's adding more feeding pools. But there's a synergy there. Remember, those help him crank out units even faster. Quorer is gonna try to tech up here. He's gone for a Casnolus den. My guess is he's building that so he can get the Mutate Bile Ducts upgrade. That increases the range of the roamer's attack by 3. If this battle's gonna be roamers versus roamers, that can give you a big advantage. And speaking of roamer on roamer crime, Quorer's decided to bring his roamers home. They are streaking across the map as we speak, and I do mean streaking. They are unclothed, naked. It's quite shameful actually. Hopefully in the next patch they can finally get some clothes. Maybe a fig leaf. Oh, here's Quantinum coming in response. Quorer's got a lone scout checking for expansions. He's also adding Scorpilisks. I actually quite like that. Scorpilisks are good against light, and they're not light themselves. They're melee, so that's a problem, but in a stand-up fight, they're gonna do great. Roamers are faster though, so they can kite them. Oh, he needed to use some scours there. He had a chance to look before he leapt. Nope, I'm being too critical. He is kiting, that works. He does some damage and he pulls back. Oh, Quorer is actually getting the speed upgrade for his Scorpilisks. That's what the Casnolus Den was for. That can make life pretty miserable for roamers. Once the Scorpius gets its first hit on a target, it injects a venom that slows its target's speed for 4 seconds. And that's often fatal because the Scorpius then swarm the target and surround it. Oh, but Quantinum's got a plan of his own. He's getting an avian nest. He's got his army out on patrol, looking to keep things locked down while that builds. What he's not doing, though, is taking his third, and Quorer is. That means once again the pressure's going to be on Quantinum to do some damage. Oh, he heard me. He's sending out his roamers. Heading for that third. Streaking, obviously. There's no overalls in that den. Looks like Quorer's army's a bit out of position. Oh yeah, he's on the high ground. He's just going to miss this. Quorer pulls out at the worst possible time. I think he's going to need a cancel here. He gets it. Good reaction. Is he going to be able to make those roamers pay? Yes, the Scorpialists sink their claws into those roamers and just run them over. Quantinum's army just drops. He did shut down Quorer's third, which was important, but it came at a big, big price. He's got to run back to his feeding pools. And once he does, Quorer's going to start rebuilding his third. Avian Nest is up. I want to see what he's going to do with that. It's usually Raptors. They lost Fred VanVleet to Houston this summer. Sorry, basketball reference. Okay, here we go. Quantinum is making Scorpialists of his own, but also Assailants. That's a high-powered air unit, vaguely reminiscent of a Guardian from Starcraft 1. There, says Quorer, here's how you use roamers. Quantinum does not use the scour very much, we've seen. It's just vision, it's not a huge deal, but information is power and it just freaks your opponent out. There we go, Quorer just keeps checking those third bases. Third base denial is a common strategy on Death Aura, and a lot of maps like it. It's easy to lock down your natural with that choke, much harder to defend those open thirds. Quorer getting +1 ground weapons. Also the roamer range upgrade, and double biomass hatcheries. Quantinum adding 2 more avian nests. Quantinum didn't really get attacked, so his tech jump, jumping up to assailants, kind of worked for him. Though you could say he's behind economically, he's just getting that third now. Those giant flying Banelings are the assailants. They're bombers, air to ground. That's gonna add a whole other tier of DPS to his army. Quorer really has nothing to match that. But he did go double biomass cavern, so he has the option of transitioning to revilers. And don't get me started on those things, I like them in every conceivable Xayid matchup. With his second mutagen chamber, Quorer is going to get +1 ground carapace. They're both +1 attack, so this would give Quorer an edge. Oh, there you go, Quantinum just wanted to show off that I have no idea what I'm talking about. He executes a perfectly placed scour. He checks the status on that third and gets away. And now Quorer's pushing out, but I don't think he knows about those assailants. He kills a scouting roamer, which is the equivalent of ringing a doorbell. Oh, and then he suddenly gets worried that Quantinum is snuck behind him, so he drops some scours to check. But there's nothing there. He's like, where's your army? Where's your army? It's back at home. That would be super boss if it worked, but there's nothing there for him to find. Instead, Quantinum's gonna get his third up. Quorer doesn't exactly have to hang his head here. He's got the lead. Quorer's third is fully operational, and he's pulling more minerals, even though they're practically tied on workers. Uh-oh, I don't know if this third base denial plan's gonna work here. Scours go out, is he gonna see the assailants? He does, but he attacks anyway. Oh, nope, good recognition, he's pulling back. Quorer's got no anti-air to speak of. No bile pits protecting his mineral lines. He's actually made a prowler, but that's not gonna help him here. And now Quantinum sees a window. The prowler used to be the backbone of the Xayid army, but now you don't see it nearly as much. It did get the nerf bat a couple of times. Quorer desperately making Xayidlings so he can shoot up, and he's adding revilers. That'll give him some anti-everything DPS. Look at those assailants, just machine gunning everything on the ground. Quantinum can do so much damage here. Oh, he's getting distracted, going after structures. Quorer's gonna use this as an opportunity to pounce. He's got a reviler in the back that's going to work on those assailants. Quantinum loses his ground forces. Oh, the assailants want to go after the mineral line. They don't kill structures fast enough. Oh, he got the memo, he got the memo. He's gonna clear out the third. But he's also gonna need to defend because Quorer's counterattacking. He's taken every unit he has that can't shoot up and repurposed it as an attacker. Meanwhile, the drones are gonna keep the assailants busy while he tries to make some more Xayidlings. Wow, how is Quorer doing this? I thought he had a significant tech disadvantage. Oh, he got the assailants to turn around and come home. Oh, with a bird's eye view, we can see that is the wrong call here. He can defend this with homegrown units, and he is. I don't know if he's gonna get another window like that at Quorer. Well, he is gonna crush an army, that's helpful. Quorer just blew a lot of dough getting that third base. Meanwhile, Quorer is gonna finish up researching dexterous joints. That's a speed upgrade for the Xayidling, but I believe it also reduces the cooldown of their dash ability. This sort of dovetails what I was trying to say in game 1. Xayidling's not so useful early, but counterintuitively, we kind of see a role for them later in the game, particularly as you pick up all the upgrades. Oh, that is a lot of assailants. Quorer does not have the anti-air for this. Well, he's got some revilers. All the assailants need to attack together. Quantinum is not so far ahead that he can split his army. There he goes. Oh, but defender's advantage. More revilers showing up. They do not have that battle frenzy upgrade though. So only by outnumbering those assailants can he go toe to toe. But it turns out the assailants do not have toes and they are defeated. It was a toe to toe battle and he did not bring a foot. You might say something evil was afoot. Quantinum decided to double expand behind this. A very good call if Quorer decides to rebuild his army, but less so if Quorer decides to counterattack. Both sides are very depleted, but with his income advantage, Quorer has the ability to come back much faster. He's gonna take a fourth as well. Interesting. Quorer winning on resources lost. Those assailants are not cheap. That's right, when they go to the grocery store, they buy the expensive Dijon mustard. No generic brand for those assailants. Oh, I totally neglected to point out that the Prowler's been dropping some acid nests. I think he's using them more for vision than defense here. This is totally Quorer kicking it old school for us here. I don't know if he invented that strat, but he definitely popularized it. Ah, there it is. Quorer's getting battle frenzy. It almost doesn't matter what unit Quantinum makes. Revilers with battle frenzy are gonna be good against it. Cloak maybe? I mean, neither player really has any detection. That Xayidling scout's wandering around going, wait, where's your army? How come you didn't rebuild that base? Did you leave the game? Nope, it's all back here. Quantinum's getting +1 for his air units now. A good call, but Quorer is just out macroing him right now. He's rebuilt his army much faster. Well, part of the issue is that revilers cost 3 supply apiece. It's a bit like roaches where it kind of inflates your supply numbers, but I actually think 3 supply is a fair value for a reviler. Otherwise, there's not a lot of incentive to make anything else. Okay, Quorer's bringing his army over here. Is he gonna see that fourth? He doesn't, but it's almost advantageous because he could have gotten massacred if he was busy attacking. Instead, he's gonna get the drop on the assailants. Oh, there's the hungry dash. The Xayidlings cripple Quantinum's army, and he does it all before Battle Frenzy comes online. Quantinum's gotta use the high ground. It's his only chance. Quorer has no way to see the high ground. Oh, forget that. He just goes right for the third. Quantinum orders an emergency wave of 11 Xayidlings, but the damage in the meantime is so huge, so many workers lost. There we go. Great high ground positioning by those assailants. Quorer pulls back to lure them out, and he just rips the assailants. Quantinum just can't get enough units packed together to deal with it. The Xayidlings stream forward and get picked off one at a time. It's a massacre. Quantinum has no army. Quorer streaming reinforcements. He wants this series. He wants to advance. He's bringing up Mendlings to heal his revilers. That is a deadly combo. He scoured to get vision up the ramp and it's GG.
Zugzwang was too lazy to design a victory dance.
Hey. I prefer the term busy. So, Quorer wins the series 2-0 and does so in a fairly commanding fashion. Clearly that veteran tournament experience carries him through. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the takeaway point of Game 2 was here, other than to mention that, yeah, revilers are pretty good. They're a bit like Marines or Stalkers, and that there's no real drop-off when they attack air or ground, so they're super versatile in that sense. They provide great anti-air when you need it, but still are usable if your opponent transitions out of those air units. They've even got some starting armor, and so while they're not particularly durable, they are at least a reliable source of DPS. The Battle Frenzy upgrade lets them attack super fast though. It's not a true comparison here, as Battle Frenzy acceleration takes time to build, but at its peak, in a longer fight, mathematically, Battle Frenzy is very close to the effect of a Stim Pack, only the Reviler's base damage is more than 3 times higher than a Marine's to begin with. Don't go calling for the Nerf Bat though, as the Xayid haven't exactly been threatening the Keiron or the Genetron for the trophy as of late. Maybe more Revilers is exactly what is called for in this meta. Remember, you gotta get pretty high up in the tech tree before you can even start making them. And, critically, the Reviler has a supply of 3, so you can't overdo it and mass up on them, or you're at risk of maxing out with a small army. The last thing I want to say is both Ranger and Eggs have been seen playing Xayid, so we've got pro-level streamers testing this race out now. I think that's incredible. Hopefully we can show you one of those games on this channel. Keep your eyes peeled. Anyways, I got a dash, as I got a lot of games from the Cup to watch. I know, my life is hard. So from my base to yours, Zugzwang out.